Project Management Professional Training Session 12 Part B. Managing Stakeholder Engagement. Managing stakeholder engagement means communicating and working with stakeholders to stay on the same page as far as project requirements by addressing their needs, expectations, and issues as they arise. It is best done by getting them involved in project decision-making and project execution at the appropriate level at the appropriate time. What do you really do when you manage stakeholder expectations? This is a three-pronged task. Involvement for confirmation. Involve the stakeholders in project decision-making and project execution at the appropriate level at the appropriate time in order to ensure or confirm their continued project support. Expectations containment. Monitor and keep the expectations of the stakeholders within the project scope and project management plan through active communication, including negotiation. Risk, concerns, and issues. Address stakeholder concerns, including those that may not yet have become issues, for example, anticipate problems in the near future. Addressing such concerns may uncover some potential risks that will need to be addressed. An issue is an item or a matter that is under discussion or dispute, and there are most likely opposing views and disagreements about it among the stakeholders. Understand, clarify, and resolve issues raised by the stakeholders. Some of the resolutions can give rise to change requests, other issues may be postponed to the next project or the next phase. Caution. The importance of resolving issues in a timely fashion cannot be overstated. An unresolved issue can grow into a major source of conflict and result in a delay in completion of project activities. You can see that your managing stakeholder engagement will keep them on the same page with you by ensuring that they understand the internal dynamics and realities of the project, such as risks and interdependencies. Keeping them in touch with the project reality and on the same page with you will increase the probability of project success. It's the responsibility of the project manager to manage stakeholder engagement by using the process presented in Table 11.2 in terms of input, tools and techniques, and output. Most of the items in the input and tools and techniques listed in Table 11.2 have already been discussed in this book. Some information regarding these items and relevant to this process will be discussed in this section. Tip: managing stakeholders' expectations by engaging them is crucial for project success because it keeps their expectations in line with the project goals, objectives, and requirements in the project management plan. Otherwise, their definition of success will be different from your definition of success, and the project will fail in their eyes even if it succeeded according to the project management plan. Earlier I discussed how managing stakeholder engagement is a three-pronged task. That was the what of this process. But how do you perform this task? The how of the task also has three dimensions to it. Table 11.2. The managing stakeholder engagement process: input, tools and techniques. And output. Input, tools and techniques. Output. 1. Project management plan. Communication. Management plan. Stakeholder engagement plan. Risk management plan. Change management plan. 2. Project documents. Stakeholder register. Change log. Issues log. Lessons learned register. 3. Enterprise environmental factors. 4. Organizational project assets. 1. Feedback. 2. Interpersonal and team skills. Conflict management. Negotiations. Observation/conversation. Cultural and political awareness. 3. Ground rules. 4. Expert judgment. 5. Meetings. 1. Change requests. 2. Project management. Updates. Communication. Management plan. Stakeholder engagement plan. 3. Project document updates. Stakeholder register. Change log. Issues log. Lessons learned register. Manage stakeholder engagement according to a strategy. This strategy and information on how to manage stakeholders' expectations by engaging them is found in the Stakeholder Engagement Plan. Identify the right stakeholders to communicate with. A list of stakeholders and information about them is in the Stakeholder Register. Also, you can use the Risk Management Plan to find out about risk categories, risk tolerance, and reporting format in the context of stakeholders, which you will use to manage stakeholder engagement. Communicate with the stakeholders to manage their project engagement. Use the communication management plan for guidance about stakeholder communication regarding which methods, technology, and format to use. While communicating to manage their expectations, you will be addressing their concerns and issues, for which you will need an issues log to document and track the status of issues. Because it's a continuous process throughout the project, you will be regularly recording the lessons learned in the Lessons Learned Register to subsequently use them to improve the process. While addressing stakeholders' concerns and issues, you or them will be generating change requests, for which you will need a change management plan that describes the process of submitting, evaluating, and implementing the project changes, and of course the change log to document and manage the change requests. The plans and other documents listed in the output column of Table 11.2 are updated to reflect these changes. As Table 11.2 shows, the change requests item is the main output of the managed stakeholder engagement process. Note: rarely does an issue grow to become a project or a project activity. It is your responsibility to resolve issues in a timely fashion in order to maintain a constructive relationship with stakeholders. However, the resolution may cause change requests for the small project, which should go through the proper evaluation and approval process before they are implemented. Communication is the key to this process, and all the tools and techniques, listed in Table 11.2, used in managing stakeholder engagements are directly related to it. Feedback, negotiations, conflict management, observation and conversations, and ground rules, which are part of the team charter, are discussed in Chapter 10 in the context of obtaining resources and developing a project team, and observation and conversations are mentioned in Chapter 4.2. Cultural and political awareness are already covered in this chapter in the communication management section. Study Checkpoint 11.2. Knowing the managed stakeholder engagement process, answer the following. Q1. Describe which EEFs can influence the process of identify stakeholders. Q2. Describe which OPAs can influence the process of identify stakeholders. Study Checkpoint 11.3. True or false, a stakeholder is proposing something that is not within the planned scope of the project. The appropriate response to this proposal is to oppose it. It is important to document your experience of managing stakeholder expectations, which includes causes of issues, how the issues were resolved, lessons learned, and so on. This will add to the organizational process assets and will be useful for upcoming projects and as a record through the life cycle of the current project. As stakeholder engagement in the project needs to continue throughout the project's lifetime, it needs to be monitored. The three most important takeaways from this chapter are the following. Communication is managed according to the Communications Management Plan and Stakeholder Engagement Plan to implement the mantra, deliver the right information to the right people at the right time by using the right communication methods to produce the desired impact. Stakeholder management is about managing and engaging stakeholders in the project and monitoring that engagement. The engagement is done by getting stakeholders involved in project decision-making and project execution at the appropriate level at the appropriate time. Like in managing stakeholder engagement, one main purpose of managing communication is keeping and gaining the stakeholders' support. Summary. Stakeholder management and communication management are two inherently closely tied project knowledge areas. In the managed communications process, reports such as work performance reports, quality report, and risk report as well as information are distributed to the stakeholders at the right time by using the right communication methods as planned. Project stakeholder management is all about stakeholder engagement. It is crucial for the success of the project to get the support of stakeholders for the project, which is best done by getting them engaged in the project at the appropriate levels at appropriate times. Road ahead. In this part of the book, you learned how the execution of different aspects is managed. But execution needs be monitored and controlled to ensure that the project is being executed according to the project plan and is making enough progress. We will cover this in the next part of this book. Exams I view. Comprehend. Plan communication is the process of determining the information needs of the project stakeholders, and accordingly determining which tools and methods to use to meet those needs by producing, storing, and delivering. Effective communication management builds bridges between diverse stakeholders with different cultures, backgrounds, disciplines of knowledge, interests, and opinions. The main purpose of managing stakeholder engagement is to get continued project support from stakeholders. It done by managing their needs and expectations through their involvement in the project. Look out. Communication plays a critical role in keeping the stakeholders engaged in the project. Distinguish between communicating, the singular, and communications, the plural. Communication refers to the act of communicating, such as conducting a meeting, while communication refers to the artifacts of communication, such as meeting minutes. Distributing information means distributing all the relevant information, whereas performance reporting focuses on the performance part of the information. To manage and monitor communication, the stakeholder engagement plan is also used, along with the communications management plan, because it explains how to use appropriate stakeholder communication strategies to engage the stakeholders. The main purpose of managing stakeholder engagement is to get continued project support from the stakeholders. It is done by managing their needs and expectations through their involvement in the project. Managing stakeholder expectations is crucial to the success of the project as it keeps these expectations in line with the project management plan. The communication management plan is an input to all the stakeholder management processes. Unresolved issues can grow to become a source of conflict. Memorize. Distributing the right information to the right stakeholders at the right time by using the right communication method is the mantra in communication management. Performance reports are important, but along with them, other reports and information are also distributed to stakeholders. The process of managing communication significantly adds to the organizational process assets in the form of project reports, status reports, project presentations, stakeholder notifications, and other project communication artifacts and records. Stakeholder management is not about managing or controlling the stakeholders, it is about managing or controlling their engagement in the project. Review questions. 1. Which of the following is not an output of the managed communication process? A. Work performance information. B. Project risk reports and status reports. C. Performance reports and quality reports. D. Project presentation. 2. The issues log is not an input used in the following process. A. Plan stakeholder engagement. B. Plan communications management. C. Manage communication. D. Monitor communication. 3. Which of the following is not an input to the managed communication process? A. Risk report. B. Resource management plan. C. Project communications. D. Stakeholder engagement plan. 4. Which one of the following items will be certainly updated as a result of the managed communication process? A. Enterprise environmental factors. B. Organizational project assets. C. Work performance report. D. Resource management plan. 5. You have created the work performance report about the project that you are managing. Which process will you use to distribute the report among the stakeholders? A. Manage stakeholders. B. Distribute report. C. Distribute information. D. Manage communication. 6. The sponsor of your project wants to look at the raw data from executing the project, that is, the work performance data. Which process should you run to get this information? A. Manage communication. B. Execute project. C. Direct and manage project work. D. Monitor communication. 7. Which of the following is an input to all the processes of stakeholder management? A. Project charter. B. Communications management plan. C. Resource management plan. D. Stakeholder engagement plan. 8. What of the following is an output item of the managed stakeholder engagement process? A. Communications. B. Change requests. C. Negotiations. D. Work performance information.